everyone, it's Emily Graziano here, and I'm here to do a review of the album Bruce Kulick's Transformer, released in April 2003. Here's an image of that. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here's an image that I'm holding up on an iPad, because again, guys, I do not own this album. I had to listen to it digitally, so I think it looks like, with the lightning bolts, very Ace-ish. But it's still got Bruce's signature style to it. Like, he's not directly copying off of Ace, unlike some other people we know of who are currently in KISS. But I dig that. The lightning bolts are cool. It has a Marshall amp in the background. That's cool. So, this album was released in April 2003. I was in first grade, and I literally have no memory of this album coming out. Like, none whatsoever. This was probably around the time that I was a flower girl in a wedding. Like, I remember in 2003, like, was it March or April, that I was a little over 6.5, and that means my sister was 4. We were both dual flower girls in a wedding for my mom's friend. So that's what I was really focused on. So this album has Brett Fitz and John Corabi from Union, and also Tim Cashin from Grand Funk Railroad is playing the keyboards on it. And the album is 13 songs, so let's just get into it. Okay, the first song, called Jump the Shark, is an instrumental. Again, Bruce is opening up with an instrumental, reminding us that he's a guitar player first and foremost. This has kind of an upbeat sound. It's an upbeat rocker with a garage band beat. It kind of reminds me of my childhood, like the music that I would be hearing around that time. It reminds me of the sound of it, so that was really, really cool. It takes me back. Again, it may sound dated to some of you, but to me, it reminds me of that era. Okay, second song on here is I Can't Breathe. This is kind of a deep and meaningful song. It reminds me kind of the angsty songs that I would hear on the radio growing up, but this has better arrangement, and it actually has guitar. Unlike some songs where the guitar is just merely an instrument, this actually, you know, you hear the guitar, you feel the guitar in it, and that's, of course, due to Bruce's playing. So I think this is better than some of the angsty songs that I heard on the radio growing up. Okay, third song on here, If Love's the Answer. This is like a mid-tempo rocker. I enjoy it because, it brings me back to my childhood, the type of songs that I would be hearing on the radio. It feels familiar, and I think that's a very recurring theme throughout this album, for me anyway, personally. But anyway, I like that song. Up next, Crazy. This is kind of a tame song for the title, and it's a really easy and relaxed listening song. Like, it's not like Crazy Crazy Nights. Maybe, and that may or may not be a good or bad thing, but I dig this song, and I still dig the song Crazy Crazy Nights. Or Crazy Nights, yeah. Okay. So, I think that this is a fun song. It's very easy listening to. Like, I was fixing up my scrapbook, my royal scrapbook, while doing this, while writing down things. So that was just easy and fun to listen to. Okay, next up, All That I Need. For some reason, this song reminds me of Read My Body from Hot in the Shade, but, and there's the word, the conjunction that is going to change everything. This has much better production and arrangement, thus making this song much, much better than Read My Body. I'm not sure why it reminds me of Read My Body. I can't tell you. Maybe it's the way Bruce is saying it. Maybe it's the way that he's saying some of the words, and I'm not going to say that they're rapping words, but they kind of, the way that the verses are done and then the music is arranged, I think maybe that could be it, but this sounds much, much better than Read My Body, although they're kind of similar. So that just shows you what production can do to a song, I think. That proves it for me. Up next, Don't Tell Me Something. This 100% feels like a song from 2003, but for me it's really comforting, as again, it will bring me back to my childhood, and I personally did that. I really enjoy the melody and the lyrics, and I think it's a really, again, calming song for me. Next song, In of the Mountain, and in is spelled like in, like an in that you would say it. This is an instrumental. I think it's a fun piece. Personally, it doesn't remind me of anything specific like some instrumentals will do, but again, I thought it was just fun to listen to, so that's that. Next, It's Just My Life, featuring John Corabi on lead vocals. I will admit, I am unfamiliar with his work. I know this much, that he was the replacement in Motley Crue after Vince left, and many fans were upset because you don't replace original people after that long. Although the album that they did, on a technical level, it's actually better than some of the albums that they did as the original group, I read. And this song is the heaviest song on the album. It actually feels like it's a little bit 90s-ish, but that's not a bad thing. I think that's actually okay, and I actually dig it. I think it's really fun. Like, Bruce really gets to, I don't want to say prove, because he's already, he doesn't need to prove anything, but it's just, I feel like this song is so different than all the other ones that it's actually really fun that it's on this album. Okay, next up, Do It Right. This is another instrumental, and at first, it retroactively reminds me of the Anomaly instrumental, Fractured Quantum, but then after the spoken word of Do It Right, it switches it up and it gets faster. I thought that was really fun, so it's almost like it's kind of 2 in 1, like there's a turning point in the song, which I think that makes it really unique, because with some instrumentals you can just kind of predict where they're going, but this one was really interesting because there was like, oh, we're gonna throw a curveball there, so that was kind of fun. Up next, Beautiful to Me. This is the love song on the album. The lyrics are really, really sweet, but it's really balanced because it's not like a straight out ballad. So I found that refreshing. It's not like, oh, it's not another sappy love song, because the tempo and the melody, they're not like sappy along with it. So I thought that that was actually really balanced. I really enjoyed that. Up next, Truth or Dare. Personally, I don't really enjoy the lyrics. They're kind of random. It mentions something about rubbing my toes or rubbing my feet, and I don't like feet. I don't even really like touching my feet. I don't really like that. I don't really like the melody. It's quite possibly my least favorite song on this album. I'm sorry, Bruce. If you had to cut off something on this album, because it is kind of a long album with like 13 songs, I would cut off this song. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. It really doesn't matter. But if you happen to dig this song, that's all good. Okay, next, Against the Grain. This is another instrumental. It kind of reminds me of taking a walk outside, and you're just taking in the sights, getting away from life, and you're just taking in the fresh air. So I thought that was really good. Like, I could play this if I were walking outside, although I don't play music. It could be background music if you were walking outside. Okay, last song, Love and Desire, and this actually features Andrew London on lead vocals. This sounds like it could have been like on a teen TV show back in the early 2000s, like for a heated moment or something. You know, I've watched way too many like stupid teen TV shows. Like, stupidly, I watched The Vampire Diaries and the originals. And I also kind of regret watching some other shows, but this should, or could, be on one of those angsty teen TV shows where it plays at the end montage of like they make a big confession of, oh, I don't love you, or oh, I really do like you, or I don't like you, something like that. It could have been on there, and it could have actually, I feel like it could have been like a radio hit, honestly. So that closes out the album. Overall, this album for me kind of brings me back to my childhood. I know I've said that a couple of times. It feels like it's radio friendly, easy listening, and it feels familiar to me, even though I had never, and I mean this, never listened to this album prior to doing it for this video. So that for me was really interesting to know that it felt familiar and it felt comforting, even though I'd never listened to it, because it was made in the era it was, and I grew up in the era that I did. It felt familiar. So I thought that was very fascinating, that it can just bring you back to a time, a place. So, oh, 11 minutes. Oh, that was kind of fast, but overall, I think this album was just really, again, easy to listen to. I'm glad that I did it, finally. And the next album review I do will be BK3. And after that, I was given a suggestion that I should actually review Black and Blue, but I don't know if I want to do that or not. Should I or should I not? Because I've done Ace's album reviews. I'm doing Bruce's album reviews, and then naturally it's like, well, you should do Tommy Thayer's album reviews. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know. Thank God he does not have a solo album release yet. Hopefully it stays that way, because then I'd have to review his album review, and I really don't want to do that, like, solo. Oh. But anyway, I want to say thank you for watching this review. Be on the lookout for Bruce Kulick BK3 next review. But I don't know, maybe I kind of want to do like a top 10 TV shows video. I don't know, would you dig that? I don't, because TV shows in my list, I bet you've never heard of some of them. So, I mean, I have a show on here from BBC Scotland on my list that you've probably never heard of. But anyway, that's just an idea. But I want to say thank you for watching this review. I'm Emily Graziano, and have a great day. I'll see you in the next one, and bye-bye.